Appreciate it.
Peace.
All right, let's bring up some more people here. Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast. State your name, where you're from.
My name is Amari. I'm from Michigan.
All right, Amari, and what you here to debate about?
I was listening to the conversation. I wanted to touch base on the deja vu topic. Real briefly.
I should have probably kept him in then.
It's like real briefly, like
all right,
it's
go
really
ahead.
getting to the root of everything. So it's really debate of God. So to not believe in deja vu is also kind of attributed to not believe in the spiritual or the unknown of what God can do and all that type of things. Because the deja vu is kind of like it's something that pops up into your brain, into your consciousness, and it appears as if it's from a previous life. It's not I've done this specific task, like I'm at work and I've done this like yesterday type of days. It's like I feel as if this place is I've been here previously in another life.
Yeah, I get that. I agree. And when I was explaining it, I was saying that because I believe in deja vu, not saying that I don't believe in it. I was explaining that most people that think that they had deja vu, it's just that their consciousness has a prediction system and their life is always on a routine. So their consciousness is always just predicting the routine. Sometimes the consciousness gets the prediction right. Sometimes it doesn't. And they mistake it as deja vu.
Well, definitely. And then to fast forward off that, free will. We have to go back to the root of God and what God is, right? God created everything, man, animal, earth, planet, stars, etc., right? So in order for God to create you and God to be what religion says is all-knowing, they say God is all-knowing, all-powerful, I'm the omniscient opponent, whatever, right? So when God created you, God knew exactly what he was doing. He knew your smile, your teeth, your eyes, whether you have 2 hands or not, God created you. God is all-knowing, right? So God must know exactly what you're going to do through every step of your life. Because God is all-knowing. That means he knows all. It's nothing for him to learn because he already knows it. So if free will exists, when God created you, that means he created you to do exactly everything that you're going to do in your life because he's all-knowing. Now, we must make a distinction. You cannot have both. You can't say God is all-knowing and then say it's free will because that means God created you to do exactly every step you do in your life, which means it wasn't your choice from the beginning, right? So let me put into a real life scenario. If I create a robot, right, and I map this robot's path out in a software program, but I give it algorithms based choices, but I program that robot to make specific choices based on what I want it to do. Is that really free will or options? And if I already know what it's going to do, is that really free will? Like if I know what you're going to do from the moment I create you, is that free will?
Yeah, good question. So I have these debates a lot about this part of it. And this is simple to break down because there's a microorganism. So put it like this. We're in the third dimension. Yes. But we see things in the 2 dimension, I believe. That is correct. Yeah, I think it's that way. We're in the 3rd dimension, but we see things in the 2 dimension. But then if you're looking at things, you would say that, well, God would be in a different dimension. And put it like this, the dimension that we are in is bound by time, space, and matter, right? So we only perceive things based off of time, meaning that how we perceive things is like, well, we can't go back in time, we can't go forward in time. But the person that's in the 4th dimension, the entity that's in the 4th dimension, they're not bounded by time, space, or matter. So they can see everything. They actually do know the beginning and the end because they can see it. That does not mean that you don't have any choice just because they can see it. They can see every choice. They can see the choices that you made, but then what this choice makes was then what's going to happen after that choice makes because they're not bound by time. So just because someone isn't bound by time and they know all, like God, right? He knows everything. That doesn't mean that you don't have the free will to make choice. Because once again, my definition of free will is the ability to make choice.
But I feel like you skipping over the fact that if
what I skip
you are
over?
Created by God, and God defined your path exactly. So God knows from the moment he created you, exactly what you're gonna do, everything from your first steps to your drink. That's not free will, because I decided that. When I created you, I decided what your life's gonna be. I didn't create you and say,
no, you don't have to decide that. So look, this is what I want you to think about, right? Let's just think of a sci-fi movie real fast. We don't have to decide anything in someone's life if we're not. So put it like this. Why do God has to decide anything if he's not bound by time to know everything? I repeat. Why does God have to decide things if he's not bound by time and he knows everything?
Or
no. So now listen. Well, listen.
To create you.
No. Listen. You're not picking up what I'm putting down. So let's just think about it. Let me give you an example so you can understand what I'm saying. If hypothetically, let's say you're not bound by time, and you talking to a chick, right? And you're not bound by time. You already know how the relationship gonna go with this chick. You know down the line, y'all gonna have some, in 3 years from now, y'all gonna have kids, y'all gonna be married, you're gonna live in a nice house. You know all of these things. But within it, you do know that there's gonna be some ups and downs, right? Within the things that you know, are you deciding, are you making her choices for her? Or is she still making her choices for herself, even though you know it?
I get where you're going with that, but it's different when I create.
Well, no, stop it. Stop it right there. You know something. Just because you know something, that doesn't mean that you are the one that's deciding and making the choices for someone. That's two different things. Once again,
exactly.
Yeah, my definition of free will is that we have the ability to make choice. This doesn't mean that God don't know the choices that we're going to make. Well, no, this doesn't mean that God controls. This doesn't mean that God controls the choices that we make. No, God doesn't control the choice that we make. He just knows the choice that we make. You get what I'm saying? Put it like this. You got any kids? You got any kids? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, you got a kid. Now, sometimes you know the choice that you got a boy or girl.
2 and 2.
2 and 2. You know sometimes the choice that your little child is going to make. Because you are older, you are wiser, so you know these things. You about to go here, you about to pick up this, you about to eat that. Did you actually make them do that though? No, but you still know. But you still know that they're going to do it.
Yeah, my thing is not the no. It's the creation part.
Okay, but what I'm saying is for the one part, we're going to go to that. But for this part, I want you to understand that this disproves your argument that, well, you have to, in order for you to know something, you actually have to be the one that's deciding it, that's making that choice for them. I'm saying that, no, we have free will. People are making their own choices. Now let's go to your creation part. What were you going to say?
Yeah, so like I was saying, you talk about knowing, I'm talking about the creating part. If I create you, that means everything that you are capable of and that you're going to do, I set that into work because I'm already knowing the whole time. That's my part. It's not the actual that I know that my like prediction type of know is that I made you to do what you're doing. It's not that like you actually decided. I made you do that. Like when I created you, I knew you was going to do that because I programmed you to do it. Like I said, if I create a robot and I put it on a determined path, right? That robot's going to follow a determined path that I programmed it to follow because I made you to do that. So then you believe that we are basically robots. That's what I was going to get to. Yeah. I believe we put not robots in per se as, well, look, we can actually look, I promise you in the future, it's going to be a robot that has free will of choice as humans do. I guarantee it. Like a video game, you play GTA right now. GTA, you can do exactly what you can do in real life to our technological capabilities at this time. I guarantee you, one day, a robot's going to be exactly be able to move and walk like a human and make decisions on their own and everything else, just like the movies. I promise you. It's because
it's just going to be algorithm. It's just going to be algorithm. Algorithms are already doing that. Algorithms are already, predicting this and then, moving over here to predict that, watching this to predict this. That's algorithm. So we can say that that's not actually making choices, right? Because they have been inserted information and their choices is based off of the information and the programming that's what they were, created by. That isn't the same choice that we have. That's much different. Like you have a kid. You created your kid. You created your kid. You don't know what choices your kids is going to make. Some of them you do. Some of them you do. You can predict it. And it's like, guess what? That's the algorithm in play. You can predict it and you would know it, but that doesn't mean that you control it. You can predict it. You may know it, but that doesn't mean that you control it. So being a robot, God does not have control over the choices that we make.
Okay.
God can influence the choices that we make, for sure. Like if you believe in Jesus Christ, one of the main reasons why Jesus came on earth was to influence us. That was the whole thing. It was just like, before he came, the world was chaotic. Before, the Moses days, it was very chaotic during the Noah days where the giants was roaming the earth, right? So God was there and witnessed human beings and seeing how we kept falling short because we didn't have like this direct influence. So it's like, you know what? I've been in the sky somewhere in heaven, that's not bound by time, space, and matter. I'm in another dimension. I'm going to come in human flesh form and be the ultimate influence. And the influence is very simple. Follow my way, seek Jesus, repent for your sins. Meaning that we still have the choice to do that. But, good convo, man. I like you. Anything else you got from me, brother? I want to get some more people up.
No, I was just say I appreciate the admitting that God doesn't control our actions as humans, because I don't think that. Exactly, it puts in perspective that God is not all powerful when it comes to human interaction. Because in the very beginning, the Bible says God said, "Take dominion of the earth and subdue it," meaning that it's our job to do whatever we're gonna do with the planet and how we operate as humans. And He doesn't control. Like, you can't pray to God and have Him change anything about the human interaction. God is
all love. Why would, if you love someone, you wouldn't control her? If you love her, you won't control her. If you love her, you'll act accordingly and wait for her or have her seek out your validation instead of trying to control her to get some validation. That's not going to be genuine. Like, the word genuine means that it's pure. You didn't control it. It's untainted, right? It's an untainted action almost. So it's like, I know this is real. It's genuine. Like, I didn't have to do all of this to try to control you, but you still sought me out. That must mean you love me, right? If I control everything, I don't know that you love me. So then what is this? You're just a robot? You get what I'm saying? That world, the worldview of believing that we do not have any free will, that God controls everything, is the Matrix. I don't believe in the Matrix. I don't believe that we're living in the Matrix, right? So with that being said,
who knows?
I mean,
I know. If God
some people are living in the Matrix.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people, the way they perceive life, they are living in the Matrix. They believe a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man. They believe what's up is now down and what's down is now up and what's left is right. But I want to get some more people in here and get some other discussion started. So appreciate you, man, and have a blessed one. I don't even gotta make jokes to him back. His jokes are so trash. It's like his jokes defeat himself. He self-defeats himself. How he come on stream, want to have a roast session and get roasted. He roasts his own self, but that's what happens, I guess. All right, we got Scam Chan in here. Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast. Is this Scam Chan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Scam Chan, you a black guy this whole time? Why is your picture of a white guy?
That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic, man.
No. I want to hear that topic. Why is your picture of a white man?
Well, the long and short of it is, I got a channel where I expose scams and whatever. So when I'm in the conversation with other people,
you look better white. White privilege?
Look.
Go ahead.
I I got the white guy up as the so-called branding logo to throw people off because they try to use the whole race thing against me when I say certain things. But I said, you don't even know who you're talking to.
It was a tactic.
So
I see.
So when I come up, you've been going out on me as a white guy, but I'm a black guy.
You came up here before, actually. Now I know. I know who you are. You've been up here before.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just never knew that you were. I never knew that the scam chan, the guy that's always, sending in chats and always in a regular chat as well. That's a member. You're a member. I never knew that you were this guy here. Okay, man. I think we've spoken a few times, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So, you wanted to speak about, you do not believe in God, right?
Right.
So what do you believe in? Dirt?
It's not a matter of what I believe in. It's a matter of, okay, let's go at it this way. Since I was up before and I was saying, for the most part, no one has any solid evidence that points directly to a God, that proves a God exists. You got all these different religions with their own idea of what a God is, but let's bring it all back to what is the defining factor that proves there is one.
Okay, so how I define God is an intelligent being that's not bound by time, space, or matter. And this intelligent being has a consciousness, but that's not bound by time, space, and matter like we are. So he can control it. He's in it, between it, all around it. He's not affected by it. With that being said, I believe that entity, which I call God, created all of the reality that we experience. So if there's not a higher intelligent being that's not bound by time, space, or matter, that created everything, then my question to you is, what created everything? Dirt? Do we come from evolution? Dirt?
No.
Then what?
It's like this. What you believe and what you can prove are two different things. So I can believe the grass is yellow or whatever. Until I prove it to be so, it won't be. You can.
I get that. But that's not answering my question, though, Scam Chen.
Listen, a person can say anything. You can
I
give
know.
all these.
Yes.
You can give all these attributes to your God. But what I'm saying is, just because you saying all these different attributes, what proves that this God is real and all the other gods are fake?
I get that, Scam Chen. You didn't. Yeah, you're moving the goalpost. Let's go back.
No, I'm sticking to the topic. I'm trying to ask for proof of a God. You're making claims what God is. I'm saying, what is the proof?
But I asked the question, though. You didn't answer my question, though. I just gave you how I believe in God, right? My belief of God, right?
Right.
I'm asking you, if you don't believe that, then what do you believe created us?
I'm not trying to believe in something that I can't prove. So I would have to go on the side of saying I don't know. And that's why I'm asking you.
You don't know.
You're the one that's holding the position of saying that there is one. So
that is true. Yes.
The guy down the street will probably say he believes in a different God. But let's come together, put both y'all at the same table. Who's wrong? Who's right? Who can prove that their God's real?
Okay. So you don't know if there is a God. Do I have that right? You don't know.
Right.
Okay. Do you know that you are like alive right now?
Yeah.
Okay, and you can prove that with certain things by like pinching your skin. No, you're not dreaming, right? Do you know, real quick, just going to break it down, make it very simple for you. Do you know, so you don't know that there's a God. and you don't know how we actually got here. So what you believe in is, I don't know. That's what I would say. And do you believe in the laws of logic?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So the law of identity, law of excluded middle, law of non-contradiction. You believe in these things because it can prove some truth about things, right?
Right.
All right. Then my question is, let's push it back further. Where do you think these... So human beings created the laws of logic, and was the laws of logic always there before human beings, or the laws of logic came about once human beings came about?
Well, you talking about, well, let's put it this way.
No. Answer the question.
I'm answering the question.
All right.
Irregardless of these laws that you're trying to bring up, I don't know how these directly point to a God creating them or whatever. As far as I know, they've always existed with or without a God.
Okay, that answers the question. So as far as you know, they've always existed with or without a God. Now, these laws of logic, do you think that most people can use logic? Like, no, I would say, do you think all people are logical beings?
Nope.
There's some people that aren't, right?
Exactly.
Got it. But then there are some that are logical beings. They're rational beings.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So with that being said, this had to, as human beings, we had to pretty much discover and categorize this law of logic. But you did admit that the laws of logic and how we perceive things has always, well, our perception of reality has always been around, even if we weren't actually ever here to even perceive it. So with that being said, if there was some truth, because logic gets you closer to the truth, you would say, right?
More or less. Yep.
More or less. Like, I mean, there's many different, these are Western, the law of non-contradiction, excluded middle, and the law of identity, that's the Westernized laws of logic. There's different cultures with their own, different similar laws of logic, and some a little bit different. But with that being said, though, there's a way that we can prove things to be true by using logic. That's what I'm saying. You would say yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's take it a step further. You already admitted that without human beings, this world still would adhere to the law of logic. Right?
Yep.
So then, what are the laws of logic adhering to?
Which law are you speaking of?
All of them. The three. What do they adhere to? In order for it to be a...
Wait a minute.
Okay,
Do
go
they
ahead.
have to adhere to something? Do they have to adhere to something?
Yeah. How? Well, then they do have to adhere to something. How are they? If they don't adhere, they're either going to adhere to the planet and the stars, right? You can say the planet and the stars created the laws of logic. Then we can say, well, what created the planet and the stars? It's just going to keep going back to dirt, bro. You got to believe in a higher consciousness. That's what I'm trying to get you to think about.
You know what? I can believe in 40 unicorns. That won't make them true. So how about that? How about that?
Well, then,
I believe in 40 unicorns. Now what? Now what? So what's the logic behind that? You can believe in anything. That don't make it true. I can believe I won the lottery last week. That don't make it true either.
Yeah, but that's not logical. That doesn't adhere to the laws of logic.
It's believing in a God that you can't prove it ain't logical either.
No, the logic is this. I will explain to you. Okay? Like I was trying to explain. I was trying to I was trying to ask you questions.
Your phone
Okay.
that you just put down, your phone that you put down exists, right? I can see it.
Okay,
Now,
Scam Chan. What I was attempting to do was.
Same level as your God. Put me
All
on
right.
that same level as your God. And
No,
explain that.
stop
Why
it
you
there.
wonder
Scam
why
Chan,
I'm
look.
a lot-
What I was attempting to do was to walk you down the logical path of getting to explain that God, to explain God in a logical way. But you asked me a question. What was your question? Because I want to answer. You were saying something about logic. Explain. You want me to explain God with logic? That was your question, right?
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you the same thing I asked you at first. Is that we're talking about? As a matter of fact, it seemed like you're going to try to prove God by going in reverse. You don't have to go in reverse to prove your God. Your God is eternal and all-knowing and always existed. He should exist now. You should be able to prove him now, in the present. You don't have to go way back. What about now? We living in a reality right now. What, God lost his powers? He can't do anything in the present?
Bro, what you talking about?
He's planning to do things in the future, right?
I see what
So
you're
what is he doing in
saying,
the present?
but I see what you're saying, but when we're having the discussion, if we're speaking about, you said you don't know if there's a God. You never said that you don't believe in God. Do I have that correct?
Exactly. The
Okay,
time to
so-
believe it, but the time to believe in something is
Oh,
when you have
okay,
evidence for it.
totally fine. And the evidence that I'm presenting you with, right? The evidence that I'm presenting you with, my example is logic. Human beings, in order for us to be rational creatures, we have to adhere to the laws of logic that you admitted was already there prior to human beings being here, right? So if these laws of logic, the law of identity, the law of excluded middle, the law of non-contradiction, this is how it's the closest thing to what human beings can perceive as proving what's true or not true by using the laws of logic. So this is how we prove what's true and not true. If we're going back, because manipulation happens when you focus on the effects instead of getting to the root, the cause of things, I'm just going back to the cause, right? So me explaining God in a logical way, I'm doing it now. If you believe in logic, my question to you is, then you have to appeal to logic in order for you to be a rational being. That is true, yes?
Yeah.
What does the law of logic has to appeal to for them to exist?
I don't even understand the question.
Bro, how don't you understand that question? You're a sentient conscious being.
You're trying to put an abstract thought onto something that's really straightforward, because it's almost
it is. So answer the question.
You're trying to have a gotcha moment.
No, it isn't a gotcha moment. I just want you to answer the question, Scam Chan. There's no gotcha. It's a conversation that, I don't even say if someone proved me wrong. I don't care about this. My podcast isn't about proving the belief of God. So there's no ego here. We're just having a debate, bro. Like, I'm not trying to have a gotcha moment or anything like that.
Well,
I'm critically thinking, and I want you to critically think too.
Okay, I'm
That's all.
critically thinking about it. I'm
right.
critically thinking about it like this. My logic dictates that I want to believe in true things, not in false things. So,
Okay.
in order for me to believe in true things, I need to be able to confirm and test that something is true. Not maybe, not almost, not imaginary. Something that's true. Because it's too many people out here. Too many people out here claiming.
Real quick, Scam Chan. Real quick. Everybody on Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and close down the Instagram stream. Come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. Let me go ahead and close down the IG stream real quick. My bad, Scam Chan. Go ahead. Finish.
No, I'm just trying to get down. I'm just trying to figure out if a God is real, which one is real, and how do we prove it? That's all. You are trying to go down the logic path. Okay, well, my logic dictates that I want to believe in true things. What,
All
if
right.
the
So,
laws
well,
of
you're
the
talking
logic-
about these gods. I'll go ahead and answer your question. And let's just, because you had a question. You're talking about people believe in different gods. Which God is actually true? Well, when you look at the religions, you know, you got the Abrahamic faith and then you got Buddhism. Kind of like, you know, that's about it. But all of these religions, and the gods that they believe in, their God is, you know, I would say not bound by time, space, or matter. Like, I don't know of any religion that has a God that's, I mean, I'm sure there's one out there because there's a lot of them, but like the main ones, they don't have like a God that's not bound by time, space, or matter. So once again, my argument is the God that I believe in isn't bound by time, space, or matter. It's it's conscious, right? So when I'm speaking about the laws of logic, and I'm saying that we use these laws of logic to prove what's true and what's false. This is how we are rational beings. We cannot be rational beings if we don't believe in the laws of logic. Even if you Google logic, it has the word rational in it. If you use Google the word irrational, it has the word logic in it. So it goes together. With that being said, you just submit it, because usually when I have this discussion, I don't really have creation debates. It's more like discussions. But usually when I have these creation discussions, people won't even concede that the laws of logic weren't here if man is here. Normally they say, well, no, the only reason why we appeal to the laws of logic is because it's our human experience and it's what we appeal to. But you just admitted, so the debate is already over if you admit that the laws of logic is still here, but human beings aren't here. Then my question for you is, what does the law of logic appeal to? How are they the identity, the non-contradiction, the excluded middle? It means that there has to be a higher consciousness that they appeal to in order for it to exist and everything to come about for us to have this human experience.
So basically, you want to give attributes to laws of logic as coming from somewhere
I didn't
other.
give any attributes to it.
Right?
What
You
attribute?
said you got to appeal
No.
to something. You said you got to appeal to something because of the
I
logic.
said you have to appeal to my stance. You have to appeal in order to be a rational being, to rationalize, to have reason. You have to appeal to the laws of logic. If you don't, you are not going to be a rational being. You're going to be chaotic. You're going to be living in chaos. You're not going to be thinking straight.
So
You're going to be
appealing
like a chick that was raised without a father and that has 5 baby daddies and no one wants her. You're going to be like one of them chicks.
I'm just saying, so appealing to logic means I got to appeal to a God too, right? That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, I believe that we're already appealing to God just by being conscious. And if you are rational to some extent, you are already appealing to God.
So if I use logic to write my software, that means I'm appealing to God because I'm using the logic to write the software?
No, I'm not saying, bro, never mind, Scam Chan. Listen, man, good discussion, bro.
I'm just trying to get I'm just trying to nail down.
Let me get KY in here. We got some other people. It's flooded in here in the backstage. So I want to get some more people up. Okay, man. But I appreciate the support, brother. Really do.
All right.